What if I told you the only thing standing between you and your biggest goal isn't talent, luck, or even time? It's focus. Every success story you admire was built not by doing 1,000 things, but by mastering the art of doing one thing with absolute concentration. Your brain is like a spotlight. Where it shines, life grows, and where it doesn't, nothing changes. Imagine what you could achieve if you directed all your energy on one goal for the next 6 months. That's the power of focus, and today, we're going to unlock it. // Part 1. The beginning of focus. Focus is a hidden force that quietly shapes every success story, every breakthrough, every dream that turns into reality. It is the difference between drifting and driving, between wandering and winning, between wishing and actually building. If you look closely at the people who rise above the rest, you will notice one thing in common: their ability to master focus. They knew how to direct their attention, how to filter out the noise, and how to give themselves fully to the task at hand. Think about it. Every day, you wake up with energy, time, and mental space. These are your resources, and how you use them decides the quality of your life. Most people scatter these resources in 100 different directions, scrolling, overthinking, getting distracted by other people's lives, or jumping from one thing to another. That's why they feel drained yet unaccomplished. But the few who learn to focus, who learn to channel their time, energy, and attention into one clear direction, those are the ones who transform their lives. They get results not because they are smarter or luckier, but because they trained themselves to concentrate where it mattered most. Focus is like a magnifying glass. Hold it under the sun casually, and the rays spread everywhere without much impact. But adjust it carefully until the light converges into one sharp point, and suddenly, that same sunlight is powerful enough to ignite fire. Your mind works the same way. Scatter it, and your energy weakens. Direct it like a laser, and you unlock a power within you that can burn through barriers, create progress, and achieve goals you once thought were impossible. Now ask yourself, how often do you give your full, undivided attention to your goals? Be honest. Most people live in fragments. They are half working, half scrolling, half listening, half thinking about something else, half pursuing their dreams, half doubting themselves. This fragmented way of living steals progress. But when you give yourself fully to a task, when you go all in, you step into a different zone. Hours feel like minutes, distractions fade away, and your performance rises beyond your usual limits. That state is called deep focus, and it is where extraordinary results are born. We live in a world full of distractions. Your phone is buzzing. Notifications keep calling your name. Social media constantly tries to pull your attention. People demand your time, and your mind, restless as it is, loves to chase every new thing. That's why focus has become rare. And because it is rare, it has become one of the most valuable skills of our time. Those who master it rise above the noise. They achieve clarity in a world of chaos. They find success in a world of scattered minds. And the best part is, you can become one of them if you choose to. Focus is not about working harder. It is about working smarter. It is about deciding what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It is about filtering the noise and protecting your energy. Every time you give your attention to something, you are investing a piece of your life into it. That's why you must be careful. Ask yourself, is this worth my life? Because in reality, focus is life. Where your focus goes, your life grows. If you spend it on distractions, your life becomes a collection of wasted hours. But if you spend it on growth, learning, building, and creating, your life becomes a masterpiece. Let's imagine this together. Picture yourself 6 months from now. Imagine you chose one goal, one clear vision that mattered most to you. And for 6 months, you gave it your full attention. No endless scrolling, no wasting energy on things that don't matter, no getting lost in other people's drama. Just you, your goal, and your focus. Can you see how much progress you would make? That business idea you have been delaying could finally take shape. That skill you have been wishing to master could become a reality. That body transformation you keep imagining could be yours. 6 months of consistent, focused effort could change the entire direction of your life. But here's the challenge. Your brain doesn't naturally want to focus. It loves novelty. It loves to chase every new distraction, every new notification, every shiny object that appears. That's why most people struggle. They think focus is boring. They think it's hard. But what they don't realize is that focus is freedom. When you control your attention, you control your future. You are no longer at the mercy of distractions. You become the driver of your own life. Focus is also deeply connected with belief. If you believe in your goal, if you believe it matters, your mind finds it easier to focus. But if you doubt yourself, your focus slips away. That's why clarity of purpose is the foundation of concentration. You must know what you want, and you must remind yourself why it matters. When your why is strong, your focus becomes strong. When your why is weak, distractions win. Think of a professional athlete. Do you think they are never tempted by distractions? Of course they are, but their focus is stronger because their vision is stronger. They know why they are training. They know what they are working toward. And that vision keeps their attention locked in. The same applies to you. Your goal doesn't have to be winning a medal. It could be building a business, learning a skill, or improving your health. Whatever it is, when you make it crystal clear in your mind, you give yourself a powerful reason to focus. There's also something powerful about momentum. The more you practice focus, the easier it becomes. At first, it feels difficult. Your mind keeps wandering. You get restless. But if you keep bringing yourself back, if you keep training your mind to stay present, you build a habit. Soon, focus stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like your natural state. Just like lifting weight strengthens your muscles, practicing focus strengthens your concentration. Every day you resist distraction, you are building mental strength. Every day you give your full attention to something meaningful, you are shaping the person you are becoming. Focus also has a deep psychological impact. When you are truly concentrated, your brain enters a state of flow. In this state, time feels different. Hours pass without you noticing. Your creativity expands. Your productivity multiplies. You perform at your highest level because your entire mind is immersed in the task. This flow state is one of the most rewarding experiences in life. It makes work feel enjoyable. It makes challenges feel exciting. And it brings a sense of fulfillment that distractions can never match. But flow only comes when you focus. You can't experience it if you are constantly interrupted. You can't experience it if you are half working and half scrolling. You must give yourself fully to the moment. That is the secret to unlocking your highest potential. Let's pause here for a moment and think about your own life. Where's your focus going right now? Is it going into building your dream, or is it being drained by endless distractions? Is it going into creating, or into consuming? Is it going into progress, or into procrastination? Be honest with yourself. Because the first step to mastering focus is becoming aware of how you are currently using it. And here's the empowering truth. You can change it. No matter how distracted you've been, no matter how much time you wasted, you can decide today to take back control. You can choose to protect your attention like it's the most valuable currency you own, because it is. Your attention is life itself. Once you realize this, you stop giving it away carelessly. You stop letting distractions steal your future. You start directing it toward the things that truly matter. Now, I want you to imagine your best self, the version of you who is disciplined, focused, and unstoppable. How do they live? They don't waste hours scrolling. They don't get lost in meaningless distractions. They know their priorities, and they guard their attention fiercely. They treat focus like a treasure because they know it creates success. That version of you already exists inside you. You just need to bring it out. And here's how you begin. Every time you catch yourself drifting, bring your mind back. Every time you feel distracted, remind yourself of your vision. Every time you're tempted to give up your attention to something meaningless, remember this. Your focus is your future. Protect it, train it, master it. So let this affirmation guide you. My focus is my power. I direct it toward what matters. I choose clarity over distraction. I am unstoppable when I concentrate. Say it with conviction, because these words carry energy. They remind your subconscious that you are in control. They remind you that no matter how loud the world gets, you hold the steering wheel. And as long as you stay focused, You will keep moving toward your goals with unstoppable momentum. This is just the beginning. In this part, we've laid the foundation, understanding why focus matters, how it shapes your life, and how it creates progress. In the next part, we will go deeper into eliminating distractions, protecting your attention, and building systems that make focus easier and more natural every day. Part 2. Eliminating distractions and protecting your attention. Distractions are the silent killers of dreams. They don't come with alarms, they don't feel dangerous in the moment, and they don't warn you about the time they are stealing. They arrive quietly, in small doses, a notification here, a quick scroll there, a random conversation that leads to nowhere, and before you know it, hours are gone. The tragedy is not that people don't have enough time. The real tragedy is that they waste the time they do have on things that don't matter, then wonder why they feel stuck. The truth is simple. If you want to master focus, you must learn how to eliminate distractions and protect your attention like it is the most precious treasure you own. Your attention is currency. Every time you give it to something, you are paying with your life. You don't get it back. Think of it like this. Imagine you had a bank account with a limited balance, and every single thing you paid attention to cost you. Would you spend it on endless scrolling, gossip, and meaningless noise? Or would you invest it into building skills, creating opportunities, and pursuing your goals? The problem is most people don't see attention this way, and that's why they spend it recklessly. But the moment you realize your attention is your wealth, you begin to guard it with a new level of seriousness. One of the biggest distractions of our time is the phone. It has become both the most powerful tool and the most dangerous trap. On one side, it connects you to knowledge, opportunities, and people all over the world. On the other side, it is designed to steal your attention. Social media platforms, apps, and notifications are built with one mission: to keep you hooked. Every scroll, every like, every ping releases a small shot of dopamine in your brain, giving you temporary pleasure but long-term emptiness. This is why people keep reaching for their phone even when they don't need it. It's not their fault, it's how the system was designed. But here's the empowering truth. You can break free. The first step to eliminating distractions is awareness. You need to notice how often you are pulled away from your focus. Count how many times you reach for your phone without thinking. Notice how often you open social media with no real purpose. Pay attention to how much of your day goes into reacting instead of creating. This awareness alone is powerful, because once you see the leaks, you can start sealing them. The second step is environment. Your environment shapes your focus more than you realize. If your workspace is full of clutter, your mind will feel cluttered. If your phone is buzzing with notifications, your attention will keep breaking. If you surround yourself with people who waste time, you will naturally do the same. That's why protecting focus is not just about willpower. It's about designing your environment in a way that supports concentration. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Keep your phone away while you work. Declutter your space so your mind feels clear. Choose carefully the people you spend time with, because energy is contagious. There is also something powerful about boundaries. Most people don't struggle with distractions because they lack time, but because they don't protect their time. They allow anyone or anything to interrupt them. A random message, a sudden call, a small request. These things add up and break concentration. You must set boundaries. Let people know when you are working. Give yourself permission to say no. Remember, every yes you give to a distraction is a no you give to your dreams. Protecting your time is not selfish. It is necessary if you want to live a meaningful life. Now let's talk about the mind itself. External distractions are dangerous, but internal distractions can be even worse. Overthinking, worrying, replaying the past, or imagining the future, these mental loops steal your focus from the present. Have you ever sat down to work, but instead of focusing, your mind kept wandering? That's internal distraction at play. The way to overcome it is practice. Every time your mind drifts, gently bring it back. Don't get frustrated. Just remind yourself, I choose to focus here, now. With practice, your mind learns to stay centered. Discipline is also a major player in protecting attention. Focus requires saying no to the easy path. It requires sacrificing comfort for progress. It requires resisting the instant gratification of distractions for the long-term satisfaction of results. This is not easy, but it is worth it. The more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. And soon, what once felt difficult becomes natural. Saying no to distractions becomes part of who you are. Let's use a simple example. Imagine you are writing and your phone buzzes with a notification. You have two choices. Choice 1, you check it, thinking it will take only a second, but then you lose your flow, you scroll a little, and suddenly 20 minutes are gone. Choice 2, you ignore it, stay focused, and finish what you were doing. That one decision decides whether you lose or gain progress. Multiply this choice over 100 times a day, and you begin to see how distractions shape lives. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you take one step closer to your goals. Protecting your attention also means respecting your energy. Your brain can't focus forever without rest. If you push too hard without breaks, distractions become harder to resist. That's why it's important to manage your energy wisely. Work in focused blocks of time, then allow yourself short breaks. This keeps your mind sharp and reduces the pool of distractions. Balance is not laziness, it is strategy. Let's imagine a day where you lived fully focused. You wake up, and instead of grabbing your phone, you spend a few minutes in silence, planning your day. You set 3 important tasks, and you commit to finishing them. You keep your phone out of sight while working. You avoid unnecessary conversations that drain energy. You use your breaks to recharge instead of scroll. At the end of the day, you feel accomplished, proud, and in control. Compare this with a distracted day, endless scrolling, random tasks, constant interruptions. At the end of that day, you feel tired but empty, busy but unproductive. Which version of life do you want? Here's something powerful to remember. Distractions are not just stealing your time, they are stealing your potential. Every moment you give to meaningless noise is a moment you could have used to build your future. That's why focus is not just about productivity, it's about self-respect. When you choose to focus, you are telling yourself that your goals matter, your dreams matter, your life matters. And that choice, repeated daily, transforms who you are. There's also a psychological trick that helps protect attention, replacement. Instead of just removing distractions, replace them with meaningful habits. For example, instead of scrolling social media when you feel bored, pick up a book or write your thoughts. Instead of checking notifications every few minutes, use that urge as a reminder to take a deep breath and refocus. Replacement is powerful because it gives your brain something positive to do instead of falling into the same trap. Another important truth is this: focus grows where energy flows. If you keep feeding distractions, they grow stronger. But if you starve them, they weaken. The first days of resisting distractions feel difficult because they are used to controlling you. But with time, as you starve them, their pull gets weaker. Your mind becomes calmer, your attention becomes sharper, and your control becomes stronger. Let's anchor this idea with an affirmation. I protect my attention. I say no to distractions. My focus belongs to me, and I direct it toward my dreams. Repeat it with belief, because words shape mindset, and mindset shapes behavior. Now, close your eyes for a moment and visualize yourself as a warrior of focus. You stand tall, holding your attention like a shield. Distractions come at you, notifications, noise, temptations, but you block them one by one. You keep moving forward, step by step, toward your vision. Every distraction you overcome makes you stronger. Every time you resist, you rise. That image is who you are becoming, a master of focus. In this part, we explore the art of eliminating distractions and protecting attention. It's about awareness, environment, boundaries, discipline, energy, and replacement. It's about choosing every day to guard the most valuable currency you have, your focus. Because when you protect your attention, you protect your future. And when you live with clarity, you build a life of purpose. This is your power. Claim it, protect it, live it. Part 3, building the muscle of concentration. Concentration is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. If you train it, it grows stronger. Most people never learn to train their focus, and that's why they find it so hard to concentrate for more than a few minutes. Their minds wander, they get restless, and they quickly give up. But here's the truth. Concentration is not something only geniuses are born with. It is a skill anyone can develop. Just like lifting weights builds strength, practicing focus builds mental power. The more you train it, the easier it becomes to control your attention, direct your thoughts, and stay locked in on what matters. Think about your brain as a gym. Every time you resist distraction and bring your attention back to the task, it's like doing a repetition for your focus muscle. At first, it feels hard. Your mind keeps wandering, and you feel frustrated. But that's not failure, that's training. Just like your body shakes when lifting heavy weights for the first time, your brain struggles when learning to concentrate. But every time you bring it back, you're growing stronger. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes natural. The mistake most people make is believing that concentration should feel easy from the start. They sit down to work or study, and when their mind drifts after 5 minutes, they assume they are not good at focusing. That's not true. The truth is, everyone struggles in the beginning. The difference is that successful people keep practicing while others give up. Success is not about talent, it's about training. And concentration is no different. So how do you build this muscle? It begins with intention. You must decide that you want to strengthen your focus. You must remind yourself why it matters. Ask yourself, what could I achieve if I train my concentration every day? Imagine the book you could write, the business you could build, the skills you could master, the transformation you could create. Your goals depend on your ability to concentrate. When this truth becomes clear, your motivation to train grows stronger. The next step is practice. Start small. Just like you don't begin weightlifting with the heaviest dumbbell, you don't start concentration training with hours awake. Begin with short sessions, 10 or 15 minutes of pure, undistracted focus. During this time, remove all interruptions. Put your phone away, close unnecessary tabs, and commit to one task. Your only job is to give your full attention for that set time. When the time is up, take a short break, then repeat. These small focus sessions are like representatives in the gym. Each one builds strength. As you practice, gradually increase the time. Go from 15 minutes to 30, then to 45, then to an hour. Over weeks and months, your ability to concentrate expands. What once felt exhausting now feels natural. You'll notice that your mind stops wandering so easily. You'll notice that you can stay locked into a task without fighting yourself. That's when you'll realize you've built the muscle of concentration. Another powerful method is mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply the practice of bringing your mind back to the present moment. It doesn't mean you have to meditate for hours. It can be as simple as paying attention to your breath, to your surroundings, or to the task in front of you. Every time your mind drifts, you bring it back gently. That act of returning is a training. Mindfulness sharpens your awareness, and awareness strengthens concentration. But let's not forget the role of discipline. Building focus is not always fun. There will be days when your mind feels restless, when distractions seem louder than ever, when you don't feel like training your concentration. These are the days that matter most. Because every time you push through the resistance, you strengthen your willpower. Discipline is what separates those who wish from those who achieve. And when you combine discipline with consistent practice, you create unstoppable focus. Energy also plays a huge role. You can't expect to concentrate deeply if you're always tired, unhealthy, or drained. Your body and mind are connected. That's why good sleep, regular exercise, and healthy food are not just lifestyle choices. They are focus boosters. When your energy is strong, your concentration becomes sharper. When your energy is weak, distractions win easily. Think of energy as a fuel for your focus muscle. Without fuel, the engine stalls. With the right fuel, the engine roars. There's another truth that often goes unnoticed. Concentration thrives on clarity. If you don't know what you're focusing on, your mind will wander. That's why setting clear goals is essential. Before you begin, define what success looks like for this session. Don't just say, I'll study or I'll work. Say, I'll finish these 3 pages or I'll complete this one section. Clarity gives your mind direction, and direction fuels concentration. Now, let's talk about something deeper, the flow state. Flow is a peak of concentration, where your mind and body are fully absorbed in the task. Time feels different. Hours pass like minutes. Work feels effortless. Creativity flows. This state is where greatness is born. But flow doesn't come by accident. It comes through training. When you build a muscle of concentration, you open the door to flow more often. And once you experience flow, you'll never want to go back to a distracted life. Another powerful technique is single tasking. Most people try to multitask, believing they can do more in less time. But the truth is, multitasking destroys concentration. The brain cannot give full focus to two things at once. What you are really doing is switching back and forth, losing energy and clarity with every switch. This is why multitasking leaves you tired and unproductive. Single tasking, on the other hand, trains your concentration. It forces your mind to stay locked in. It teaches you to give your full energy to one thing, and the results are always better. Patience is also part of the process. Just like physical muscles don't grow overnight, neither does concentration. You may not notice a progress immediately, but every session counts. Every time you resist distraction, every time you stay a little longer with a task, every time you bring your mind back, you are training. And slowly, your brain adapts. Your attention span lengthens. Your concentration strengthens. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Let's anchor this with a visualization. Picture your concentration as a flame. In the beginning, it flickers, weak and unstable. The wind of distractions blows, and it struggles to stay alive. But every time you practice focus, you feed the flame. You shield it from the wind. You make it stronger. Over time, the flame grows into a steady fire, unshakable and bright. That fire is your concentration. And once it burns strong, it lights the path toward your goals. There is also an emotional side to this. Concentration is not just about discipline and practice. It's about passion. When you truly care about something, focusing on it becomes easier. Think about the last time you did something you loved. Maybe it was playing a game, reading a book, or working on a project you enjoyed. Hours passed without you noticing because your heart was in it. Passion fuels concentration. That's why it's important to connect your goals to something meaningful. When your heart is involved, your mind follows. Now, let's add an affirmation to strengthen this truth. Every day, my concentration grows stronger. I train my mind to stay focused. My attention is sharp, my energy is clear, and my focus is unstoppable. Repeat it with belief, because affirmations are not just words. They are seeds planted in your subconscious. And with repetition, those seeds grow into habits, and habits shape your destiny. As we close this part, remember this. Concentration is not something you wait for. It is something you build. It is not a gift. It is a skill. And every time you practice, you are building the muscle that will carry you toward your goals. Protect it, train it, and respect it. Because once you master concentration, nothing can stand in your way. This is how you rise. This is how you build strength. This is how you become unstoppable. Part 4. Turning focus into momentum and results. Focus is powerful, but focus alone is not enough. Think about it like this. Focus is a spark, but momentum is a fire. You can have all the concentration in the world, but if you never move forward, if you never take action, you will stay in the same place. Focus is the ability to lock in, but momentum is the ability to keep moving. And when these two forces come together, that's when results are born. So many people get stuck in one of two traps. The first trap is distraction. They can't focus long enough to even begin. The second trap is stagnation. They focus, but they don't create momentum. They overthink, they hesitate, they get lost in preparation, and they never step into real progress. But the truth is, momentum doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. You build momentum by taking one step, then another, and another, until the movement itself carries you forward. Here's something you need to understand. The first step is always the hardest. Starting requires energy. Starting requires courage. And starting requires you to face resistance. That resistance is not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're about to grow. The moment you push through that resistance, momentum begins. And once momentum is created, it becomes easier to keep going than to stop. Think of a train sitting still on the tracks. At first, it takes massive power to get it moving. But once it's rolling, Its own weight carries it forward, and stopping becomes harder than continuing. That's exactly how momentum works in life. Now, let's connect focus to momentum. When you focus, you channel all your energy into one direction. That concentrated energy becomes a force that moves you forward. But if you spread your attention too thin, you never build enough force to create momentum. Imagine pouring water on a wheel. If the water is scattered in all directions, the wheel won't turn. But if all the water is focused in one steady stream, the wheel spins faster and faster. That's the power of turning focus into momentum. But let's go deeper. Results don't come from random bursts of effort. They come from consistent momentum. Anyone can work hard for a day, but few can keep moving day after day. That's why focus must be linked to consistency. Each day, even when you don't feel like it, you show up. Each day, you make progress, even if it's small. Each day, you honor the momentum you built. And over time, those small steps transform into massive results. Here's the truth most people overlook. Momentum is fragile in the beginning. When you first start, it's easy to break the chain. You miss one day, then another, and before you know it, the momentum is gone. That's why protecting your momentum is so important. In the beginning, treat it like a seed. Guard it, water it, give it attention every day. Because once it grows into a tree, it becomes unshakable. But until then, you must nurture it. One of the best ways to keep momentum alive is to create a rhythm. Just like music is a beat, your life needs a rhythm of action. Maybe it's writing a page every morning, or making 10 sales calls every afternoon, or practicing your skill for 1 hour each night. The rhythm doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be steady. When you create rhythm, momentum takes over. Your actions become automatic, and your results multiply. But momentum is not only about speed, it's also about direction. You can move fast, but if you're moving in the wrong direction, you're only getting lost faster. That's why clarity matters. Before you run, ask yourself, am I running toward my true goals, or am I running in circles? Focus gives you clarity, momentum gives you power, and together they create results. Without clarity, momentum is wasted. Without momentum, focus is wasted. But when clarity, focus, and momentum align, results become inevitable. Now, let's talk about resistance again, because resistance is where most people lose their momentum. At the start, resistance tries to stop you from beginning. Once you've started, resistance tries to slow you down. It shows up as doubt, fear, excuses, and distractions. But resistance is not your enemy, it's your test. Every time you push through resistance, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. Every time you push forward, you add fuel to your momentum. Remember this, resistance is a gate you must walk through to reach your next level. Another truth about momentum is this, small wins matter. Too many people wait for a big breakthrough before they feel proud, but momentum is built on small victories. Finishing a task, completing a workout, learning something new, these are wins. And each win adds weight to your momentum. When you celebrate small wins, you send a message to your brain. Keep going. That message builds confidence, and confidence multiplies results. Let's think about sports for a moment. Teams that win one game often go on to win more, not because they suddenly became more talented, but because momentum is on their side. Winning fuels confidence, confidence fuels effort, and effort fuels more winning. The same is true in your life. When you start stacking small wins, your momentum grows. Suddenly, things that once felt impossible feel natural. Suddenly, doors open. Suddenly, success feels like it's chasing you instead of you chasing it. But here's a warning, momentum can work both ways. Positive momentum builds success, but negative momentum builds failure. If you allow distractions, laziness, and bad habits to take over, they create their own momentum. Skipping one day makes it easier to skip the next. Giving in to one distraction makes it easier to give in again. That's why awareness is crucial. Every choice you make either feeds positive momentum or negative momentum. Ask yourself daily, which momentum am I building right now? Another way to turn focus into momentum is by tracking progress. When you see evidence of your growth, it motivates you to keep going. Write down your wins, track your habits, measure your results. Progress is fuel. Even if the steps are small, when you look back and see how far you've come, It gives you power to move further. Progress is proof that your momentum is real. One of the most underrated secrets to momentum is environment. Your surroundings can either push you forward or pull you back. If your environment is filled with distractions, negativity, and clutter, your momentum slows. But if your environment is designed for focus, filled with reminders of your goals, and surrounded by people who push you higher, your momentum accelerates. Environment is like the wind. When it's against you, you struggle. When it's with you, you fly. Another important truth: momentum loves action, not perfection. Too many people wait until everything is perfect before they start. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. But perfection never comes. Momentum is born in imperfect action. You start where you are, with what you have, and you adjust as you go. Motion creates clarity. Action creates answers. And once momentum begins, opportunities appear that you never would have seen if you had stayed still. Now let's talk about habits, because habits are momentum on autopilot. When you turn your focus into a daily habit, momentum becomes unstoppable. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do it, because it's automatic. Imagine if working on your goals became that automatic. That's the power of habits. They transform momentum from something you have to fight for into something that carries you naturally. Build habits that align with your goals, and you will build momentum that never stops. Another perspective to remember is this: momentum creates identity. When you consistently act in a certain way, you start to see yourself differently. If you write every day, you begin to see yourself as a writer. If you train every day, you begin to see yourself as an athlete. Identity fuels behavior. When your identity aligns with your goals, momentum becomes unstoppable because you are no longer just doing an activity. You are becoming the person who lives that activity. Let's pause for a moment and anchor this with an affirmation. I turn my focus into action and my action into momentum. Every step I take builds strength. Every effort creates progress, and my results grow bigger every day. Say it, believe it, live it, because affirmations program your subconscious to support your momentum. The more you remind yourself of who you are becoming, the more your actions align with that truth. And finally, let's look at the long game. Momentum is not just about reaching one goal. It's about creating a lifestyle of progress. When you master the art of turning focus into momentum, you can apply it to anything: career, fitness, relationships, personal growth. Momentum works everywhere. It's not just about one victory. It's about building a life where victory is normal, a life where progress is automatic, a life where results are inevitable. Remember this: focus starts a fire, but momentum keeps it burning. Protect your focus, feed your momentum, and your results will multiply beyond what you thought possible. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just need to keep moving. Because once momentum is on your side, nothing can stop you. This is how dreams turn into reality. This is how goals turn into achievements. This is how ordinary people create extraordinary lives. Part 5. The Unstoppable Power of a Focused Life. A focused life is a powerful life. It's the kind of life where distractions lose their grip, where clarity takes the wheel, and where progress becomes natural. Most people drift through their days scattered, chasing every notification, pulled in every direction, and at the end of the week, they wonder why nothing meaningful has changed. But a person who chooses focus builds a different reality. They control their attention, they protect their energy, and they direct their actions toward what truly matters. That person doesn't just live, they live with power. When you live a focused life, everything begins to align. Your thoughts align with your goals, your actions align with your values, and your time aligns with your purpose. Instead of wasting hours on meaningless distractions, you invest your hours in what makes you grow. Instead of being busy without progress, you become productive with purpose. And the difference is massive. A scattered life leaves you drained and unsatisfied. A focused life fills you with momentum, fulfillment, and results. But here's the truth. A focused life doesn't happen by accident. It is built by choice, one day at a time. Every time you choose to focus instead of drift, you are shaping your future. Every time you say no to distraction, you are saying yes to greatness. And every time you commit your attention to what matters most, you are building the unstoppable power of a focused life. Think about the power of light. When it's spread out, it lights a room. But when it's concentrated, it becomes a laser strong enough to cut through steel. That's the difference between a scattered life and a focused life. A scattered life may glow, but it doesn't change much. A focused life becomes unstoppable, breaking through obstacles, creating results, and leaving a mark that lasts. So how do you create this kind of life? It begins with vision. You must know what you want and why you want it. Without vision, focus is nowhere to go. Vision is a map, and focus is a vehicle. When your vision is clear, your focus has power. Every morning, remind yourself of where you are going. Every night, ask yourself if you move closer to that vision. This daily check keeps you aligned and prevents you from drifting. Next, you need discipline. Focus without discipline is like a car without fuel. You might know where you're going, but you'll never get there unless you show up every day. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about choosing progress over excuses, growth over comfort, and purpose over distraction. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that once you practice it long enough, it becomes part of who you are. You no longer have to fight to stay focused. It becomes your natural way of living. Another key to a focused life is priorities. You cannot do everything, and you don't need to. The most successful people are not those who do the most. They are the ones who do what matters most. Ask yourself, what is truly important to me? What will move my life forward? What will create the biggest impact? Once you know the answers, protect those priorities with everything you have. Let go of what doesn't serve you. Focus on what does, but let's not ignore the emotional side. A focused life is not about living like a robot. It's about living with intention. It's about creating space for what brings you joy, for the people you love, for the passions that make you feel alive. Focus doesn't mean you cut out happiness. It means you cut out the noise that steals your happiness. It means you choose depth over surface, quality over quantity, meaning over distraction. Another powerful truth is that focus creates freedom. Many people think freedom comes from doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But that kind of freedom often leads to chaos, wasted time, and regret. Real freedom comes from focus. When you focus on your goals, you create results. Those results give you options, and those options give you freedom. Focus today builds freedom tomorrow. That is the true power of a focused life. Let's bring this into your daily reality. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and decide to live focused. You start the day with clarity. You know exactly what you want to achieve. You protect your time from distractions. You give your full attention to your most important task. You finish the day with progress you can feel. How different would that day feel compared to a day of scattered distraction? One day may not change your life, but a series of focused days will transform everything. Momentum then takes over. When you live focused for one day, it feels good. When you live focused for 1 week, you start to see results. When you live focused for 1 month, you feel unstoppable. And when you live focused for 1 year, your entire life changes. Focus compounds over time. Each day of focus builds on the last, creating exponential growth. That's why the power of a focused life is unstoppable. It doesn't just add results, it multiplies them. But here's something even deeper. Focus shapes who you become. Every time you concentrate on your goals, you are not just achieving something. You are becoming someone. You are becoming the kind of person who is disciplined, consistent, and unstoppable. And that identity sticks with you. Even when challenges come, even when distractions try to pull you back, your identity keeps you on track. You no longer have to force focus. You live it because it's part of you. Let's anchor this truth with a daily affirmation. I live a focused life. My attention is my power, and I use it wisely. Every day, I choose clarity, I choose purpose, and I choose progress. Nothing can stop me because my focus is unshakable. Repeat it, believe it, live it, because when your mind accepts this truth, your actions naturally align. And now, let's talk about impact. A focused life doesn't just change you, it changes everyone around you. When you live with focus, people notice. They see your discipline, your results, your energy, and they are inspired. Your focus becomes contagious. You lift others simply by showing what's possible. You become an example, a leader, a source of motivation. And that ripple effect can spread further than you ever imagined. Think about history. Every great leader, every great inventor, every great creator lived with focus. They ignored the noise, they committed to their vision, and they stayed locked in until the results came. Without focus, there would be no discoveries, no breakthroughs, no masterpieces. Focus is a foundation of progress, both personal and global. And when you choose to live focused, you join that same tradition of creators and leaders who left their mark on the world. This is the unstoppable power of a focused life. It transforms you, it multiplies your results, and it inspires others. It gives you clarity, discipline, momentum, and freedom. It turns your days into progress, your progress into results, and your results into a legacy. This is a life you are meant to live. Not scattered, not distracted, not drifting, but focused, powerful, and unstoppable. Because in the end, success is not built on luck. It is built on focus. The people who win are not the ones who do the most, but the ones who focus on what matters most. And if you choose focus, if you live it every day, your success is not a question, it is a guarantee. So today, make the choice. Decide to live focus. Protect your attention, direct your energy, and commit to your vision. Because once you live a focused life, there is no limit to what you can achieve. And that brings us to the close of day 11. You've learned the power of focus, the danger of distraction, the strength of concentration, the momentum that comes from consistent action, and finally, the unstoppable life that focus creates. You are no longer the same. You are stronger, sharper, and ready to rise. But this journey doesn't end here. Tomorrow, we unlock something even more powerful. Because if focus is the engine of success, then confidence is the fuel that keeps it running. Without confidence, focus weakens. With confidence, focus becomes unstoppable. White right pointing backhand index, get ready for day 12. The power of confidence, believing in yourself to unlock your true potential.